Welcome, everyone, to Cohesity's episode of the Human Factor. Human Factor is an idea that we came up with these crazy times of the pandemic and things changing. People really matter most. I mean, technology is important, but the people need to come first. And so today I'm excited to introduce my friend, as well as someone who I've done a lot of work with in the tech community, Pumala Schmidt, to join us for this talk today.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me, Teresa, and Cohesity.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I mentioned, things have changed quite a bit. We've all felt it. And so maybe we could just briefly talk about, for those that didn't get the opportunity to work from home prior to the pandemic, what life kind of looked like working from home before, and then we'll kind of shift gears into the changes. But let's start with the before. I think people have a skewed image of work from home at the moment just based on what's going on.
Yeah, work from home, let's just say it was, I get up at early in the morning, 4 or 5, work out, do my thing, have breakfast, get my daughter ready for school, and then come down to my office and work, do work, close the door, and then every so often play with the dog, take the dog out. Now it's just chaos. Like, people are at home. My parents live with me. They don't leave the house anymore because they're in their 70s. And normally they would go and watch the other grandkids, but they're home now, and my kids are home, and it's like, it feels like it's a weekend every day, even though, I have to work, right? So work from home is just kind of, as I was saying earlier, I can't, like, there's just even no words to describe this whole situation, because I wake up and I'm like, okay, it's, is it Tuesday or is it Thursday? And,
that's happening
my
to me.
out.
That's happening to me constantly. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are a bit of a mishmash. Like, I woke up this morning and it felt like Wednesday.
I used to work a lot. Like, this is the thing that we get into trouble with when we work from home. Sometimes we get so focused, and, you just kind of like so focused on a project that you forget to take time to, step away to go to the bathroom or whatever, or eat. Because I can go all day sitting at my desk here and, just work on the project. And then it's 4 o'clock. I haven't gotten a shower yet sometimes. But now it's the complete opposite, where I literally am telling myself, go to the office, accomplish one thing at work at a time. Because if I set too many goals, I lose focus. I mean, just the whole situation, your mind just can't, you want to focus on work because you have to get stuff done. But at the same time, there's so much going on around. The news is on, right? And you're hearing these numbers, and then you're trying to help, somebody do their homework, or making sure they submit their homework, because you just got an email from the teacher that they didn't submit their homework last night.
Yeah, I know that.
It's just constant, like, okay, the interruptions are more frequent. So just trying to get into a rhythm is a challenge for me. And, I was telling my boss, Rick Claus, like, every day is such a struggle to stay on task and focus. And I mean, he completely understands. Our whole organization understands. Like, it's so hard for everyone to say, okay, life is normal. This is normal work from home. No, it's not. This is not normal. There's so much more going on around the world right now. And for us just to sit here and pretend like it's normal, it's just not. And it's difficult to even tell yourself that it's normal. Like, sometimes I tell myself, okay, I need to get 5 things done. If I don't get 5 things, I'm going to get in trouble. But I try to work on it, and then there's just stuff coming. And then sometimes I just want to break down and cry, because it's so stressful. And I'm not even sure the word stressful is the right term for it. Sometimes I'm angry. Sometimes I'm confused and scared. Like, will will this be the norm now where everyone is at home? And will I want my old work from home life again, where it was quiet during the day and I could focus and I didn't have to worry about everybody else.
Yeah.
And part of me feels like we're not going to get back that normalcy for a while. So just doing that transition has been very difficult for me. And I'm going to be honest with everyone. It is a real struggle for me.
Well, I appreciate your
There's
candidness, Pamela. Yeah, no, I think it's helpful because you're definitely not alone. We're all trying to figure out how to balance things. I think for me, it's the schoolwork, right? One, I didn't sign up to be a school teacher.
I'm not a teacher. I've got
so
no patience.
Lord help me and my poor children when they need help. But what I'm finding is that their teachers are available, and that's typically my recommendation. But that being said, there are times when I still have to help. And so for me, I'm going to share a quick tip, and I'm curious if you found anything that's helping families, because there's a lot of people that do have this struggle of kids and their homework. So one thing I've been doing is, trying to have a conversation in advance with them so that maybe I could block off, say, an hour that would be beneficial to them right before they needed to meet with that teacher. And I know that seems silly to schedule my kids in, but I'm so used to having my day and I need to be focusing on work. So for me, that's something that's working.
It's a good thing though.
Yeah.
Scheduling that time in, but also checking in on them, because it's not normal for the kids to be at home. And what I'm finding is a lot of the homework is really busy work. And the kids can tell that it's busy work. Like they can see right through it. They're like, okay. I know the first 2 weeks, my daughter's like, this is, what the heck is, it's just work. But now, I think she's starting to get it. Like, yeah, you're not going back to school this year. I mean, they've already announced it. So I'm making sure every day, actually getting her up and instead of letting her sleep through the morning, because she's been doing that. I wake her up and say, get your butt up. Let's at least try to have some normalcy. Let's get up at a normal, decent time, not 10 or 11. Let's get up at 8. Let's have some breakfast. Let's pretend that you're actually going to school, because that way it's going to get them in that mindset of, okay, yes, I'm homeschooling, but letting them sleep into noon. I know I let her do that. I'm going to be honest. I was like, okay, I'm getting my work done, and we're trying to, and then I let her sleep because she's out of my hair. But it was the opposite effect, where I'm like, okay, this isn't working out. Let's get up. Let's have breakfast. Let's find out what you need to turn in today. What's your homework for today? Let's check Canvas. Doing things like that is starting to form a normalcy. This is the new norm now. You have to get up on the weekdays. You cannot sleep in anymore. On the weekends, yes, you can sleep till 1 in the afternoon, but not on the school day.
Sure.
And yeah, because kids still need schedules.
They need that structure.
They do.
I agree.
They do. They need structure, because it's a challenge for them too. I mean, I see it in her. I mean, she's even questioning things like, well, this stuff doesn't matter. It's just homework.
Oh yeah.
Does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? Like she actually said that to me.
Yeah.
Like, Mom, this math. She says, what does it really matter?
Right.
And I'm like, it does. It's the principle. You still have to do it. You still have to do school.
Yeah.
And they see what real life is like. They're like, people are dying. People are getting sick. We're stuck in our homes. And you want me to worry about my algebra right now?
That's a really good point.
I want you to worry about your algebra.
Well, it is, like you said, it's busy work. It keeps their minds busy. And I've noticed that too. I don't think anything is overly challenging that anyone is getting from a homework perspective, but it's creating some accountability and keeping them somewhat distracted amidst what we can call chaos. So I think it's interesting that you're seeing similar in your house. Um, I don't think we're
The social
alone
media.
as parents. Yeah.
I'm finding a lot of time on social media, and part of me wants to take that away because she's doing other things. But at the same time, that's the way she's connecting with her friends. So there's definitely a balance and a struggle that I'm going through in terms of how much time is she spending online.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's the only way she can see her friends,
Mm-hmm.
and her cousins and stuff. And there's definitely a struggle, and I don't know what the answer is,
Yeah.
because that's the only way all of us are, connecting with our friends and our community and coworkers. I was crying the other day because I said to a friend, I'm like, I just want to see my friends.
I know.
you know, and that was what my daughter was crying about a couple weeks ago. She said, why can't I go play with my friends?
Yeah.
You can't, we have to social distance. And it's just funny that I did the other day. I'm like, I just about bursting into tears. I just want to see my friends.
Yeah.
I want to go to, a conference and present. I want normalcy.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to hug somebody that lives outside of my home. And it is a definite struggle.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, a lot of us have had to change plans. You and I were going to get to see each other in March, right?
Amsterdam,
Yeah,
celebrate my
we
birthday.
we were both going to be. Yeah, we were going to make some time for your birthday while we were both presenting at Ignite Tour. So
Yep, Microsoft Ignite the Tour Amsterdam. That was cut, and then I was headed to Madrid afterwards.
mm-hmm.
That was cut, and Mumbai and Tel Aviv. I mean, obviously our whole tour was cut short.
Yeah.
And that reshifting of priorities now, we've had to work through, since we're not out presenting content. Now it's like, what do we do? So we're reshifting our plans and, putting everything online now. I mean, we can still do our jobs, but we just have to find different ways of providing content to our audience. That piece, I'm actually looking forward to being able to provide content online
Mm-hmm.
and see how people, what's the word, adapt, accept. Like it's weird because there's always at the camp that says, online anymore, you have to be in person. And then, the others that really like online learning. So I really want to see how, as we're producing this content for online consumption, it's the only way you can get content right now, right? Virtual, online. I'm really interested to see how people are accepting it and utilizing it prior to the whole pandemic. Because
Yeah.
before it was like a 50-50. Now it's like, that's your only option. Like Microsoft Ignite is going to be online. Build is in a couple weeks, that's online. And I just saw VMware, both of them are going to be online now. So how does this, both our communities, how are they going to adapt that? I mean, some people have problems sitting in a 45-minute in-person session.
Right.
How do we shift that digitally and keep people's attention for 45 minutes or 30 minutes without them going, I gotta, take my dog out, or, well, this session's boring, can I go to another one?
Right.
Because in person, you can just get up and leave. But that's going to be a challenge for us. And one I choose to accept, keeping everybody engaged online, digitally. It's definitely, it's cool at the same time. Challenging. Okay. Now we can really get creative with our ideas and trying to get people engaged, because this is also our opportunity to include everyone, because we're all in the same boat. We're not leaving our homes for the most part.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, we've had some conversations even as a team, just trying to figure out what that will look like. Well, like, will there be demos? Will there be virtual reality where you can actually interact with people? It'll be really interesting. Will everyone use the same platform? Probably not. So we'll see how those online conferences go. And then, of course, there's always that human element that will be missing. Like you said, we don't get to necessarily connect with our friends in the same way. So will there be a lot of virtual happy hours or lunches, or, you know, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
I think us as, I guess, influencers or community leaders, I think it's not up to us, but it's a challenge for us to help bring people together, right? Because there are people out there that are like, okay, what do I do now? I don't have a conference here to meet friends. So what can we do to still bring the community together? And I think there's also, you know, we can have those virtual happy hours and virtual the VBers. I think it's getting people comfortable with video. I think that's almost going to be key. I know I hate being on video all the time, but I think if we want people to really feel included somewhat, is to really include that video, because now you can see people. It's one thing if you were there physically with someone, you can see them, you know, you hear them talking. But if you're just joining a conference and it's just all audio, there is a little bit of a disconnect. When you see somebody on the camera, there's more of a connection. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be 100%, but I think really including video and, you know, bringing everyone together that way, I think that's going to help connect our community and keep our community together. Mm-hmm. And say, hey, we're all on the same boat. Everyone is wearing a nice shirt up top, and they're wearing sweatpants or leggings on the bottom. Right?
How'd you know?
Because I'm doing it. I'm sure everyone is giggling right now. That's muted.
It is National Wear Your Pajamas to Work Day, right? I think so. We might even have some
every day
people doing it. Yeah. So let's just shift over to maybe one more topic here before we wrap things up a little bit today. So back to the work from home element. Like, we are all wearing so many different hats. Like, I took stitches out. I've cut hair. I have, we call it a mixologist. I am now the bartender in the house. Like, what are some tips you have for others in terms of balancing that? Like, I know, again, I am not those things, like, and they're actually not fun for me in any way, shape, or form. So any advice for people listening that have to take on things they normally wouldn't have?
You're not perfect. You're human. You make mistakes. So if you cut the dog's hair wrong and one side of her face is lopsided because you cut too much off, it's okay. It's gonna go back. You know, if you're cooking more and food doesn't taste that great, it's okay. You know, we are out of our norm. So the things that we normally don't do, like bartending, you know, seamstress, it's okay if these things aren't perfect. Just trying them, I think, is a good thing, right? We're all expanding our knowledge. So that's a good thing. But don't put too much pressure on yourself to be everything, because you're not a robot. You may be good at one thing and another thing you're not. Like, I'm okay at cooking. I'm really great at sitting on the couch and watching TV in the evening. I'm perfect at that. You know, I'm not a great dog groomer. Sorry, my dog. But, you know, things needed to get done. I'm not the best hairdresser. So if you give me some clippers, I apologize if you have lines in the back of your head and some of it is uneven. But you know, it is what it is. We're trying to adapt, and if you mess up, it's okay. I say just laugh it off.
Yeah.
You know, put it down in the book, right? Write it down or keep it in the back pocket so you can, you know, 2 years from now we can laugh about it and say, remember that time that we were all quarantined and I shaved your head or I was giving you a haircut and it was lopsided and you had lines on the one. Yeah, I mean, you know, so things like that. Right now, we are, as my daughter said the other day, she goes, Mom, we are making history. People are going to talk about us 20 years from now, 30 years from now. We are literally history. So in a way, let's make do with what we got, make the best of it. And I'm like, you know what? You're pretty smart for a 13-year-old. You're right. We are making history.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is people are going to study about this, you know, in history class 20, 30 years from now. And, you know, we can tell our great grandchildren that, hey, when I was, you know, alive during the pandemic, I tried to cut my dog's hair and, you know, it came up lopsided. And I tried to, you know, cook a whole bunch of food and half of it I had to throw away. And, you know, we waited in lines to buy toilet paper. I mean, these are stories that we're going to be telling our grandchildren and our great grandchildren. You know, people are going to read it in virtual books. So just, you know, do the best you can. And if it doesn't turn out right, laugh it off and say, we'll talk about it in several years from now and we'll have a good drink over it.
Yeah, that's true. Very, like you said, very wise too of your daughter in terms of the history. And I like the connections that you made. Just to the relevance. I like the virtual the virtual textbooks we may have. That's awesome.
Yeah, regular textbooks. My kids don't like. My daughter doesn't have a textbook anymore. She hasn't had one in 2 or 3 years.
No.
She uses an iPad. That's pretty much everything they do at school. Even my
so
older
it's already
boys,
started.
they were using iPads. Oh yeah, at least 5 years. At least 5 or 6 years they haven't had textbooks at all. So our school is pretty advanced with the technology. But I can see in several years now, I don't see students having textbooks. It's all going to be digital.
Cool. Well, I'm going to give just a last call for questions for people. I've kind of threw out in the chat if you have any questions for Pumala, things that you're dealing with day in and day out and our new normal, please throw them out there. If not, we're going to wrap things up here in the next couple of minutes.
I like my hair. I put sparkles in.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
That's one tip I have for everyone. So I've been bumming it for the last month. I wasn't feeling well in March. And after I started feeling well, or started feeling better, I realized I still have to pretend this is normal. So getting somewhat dressed. I know on Twitter I joke about my daytime pajamas and my nighttime pajamas, which is true. I do have different sets. But at least set one day where you actually try to get into real clothes. I've been doing it little by little, you know, just doing a little bit of normalcy. Today I figured, you know what, I'm going to be on video, so I'm going to do my hair and put the makeup on.
Yeah.
And it actually made myself feel better. Because if we're just kind of bumming around, you're kind of like, but try to at least keep a little bit of normalcy in the way we dress and, you know, presenting yourself. It does go a long way. Because if you look in you walk by the mirror and you're like, oh, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to put on a sweatshirt and, you know, sweatpants or pajamas and not do your hair. You don't feel as energized.
Right.
Like after I put my makeup on, I'm like, okay, I feel good. I feel like I can go around the block now.
Yeah.
You know, I put some sparkles in. I've been wearing earrings every other day.
Yeah.
I know I joke about on Twitter. I bring out my purses and I take them for walks with me, just to, you know, want to go somewhere, but keep that little bit of normalcy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really, really good advice. I've seen one other person say especially the get up and get ready thing makes a difference in their day. So it's nice to hear you also have the same success with that. So we do have a question, more of a work, I think, related question. Do you think that your time working is different for a big company versus, say, a smaller company?
Right now, I'm gonna be honest, yes, because I do work. I've worked for smaller companies, and I was able to work from home. And I work obviously for a very large organization, and my job is to work from home. So there's lots of it's different. I think for smaller companies, there is a lot different pressure because they're not used to this working from home every day, right? And I have noticed a lot of micromanaging. I've had some friends tell me, you know, they're expected to be on Teams or Skype for Business all the time when they're checking the status, and you can't have that expectation. We still have to have normalcy, right? Where your employees they're going to work during the day as much as they can. You do have to give them a little bit of slack because they're a teacher now. They're also a daycare provider, so that there's going to be interruptions. But I do know that the pressure on a smaller company, the expectation to be available is a lot more than someone that is used to working from home, especially a larger organization.
Yeah,
But it's not that all the time, though.
Sure.
There is going to be exceptions.
That's very insightful. In fact, I had a conversation with someone recently too on that whole monitoring thing. And to me, it really, you do your work whenever you do your work. It's not about when someone logged in or logged off. It's about what are they producing? What's the outcome? If they're delivering, it doesn't matter if they were on Teams at 8 a.m. and logged off at 5 p.m. They will get their work done. And a report isn't going to tell you, it's really those outcomes. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of management is starting to realize that because they're in the situation too, right? Mm-hmm. They're a teacher as well now. They're a daycare provider. So you got to put yourself in the other person's shoe, but you're also in the other person's shoe now. So there's got to be some leniency on the expectation of your employees now that everyone is working from home. Mm-hmm. And it's not a typical work from home situation. We're not working from home. We're working through a pandemic.
Right.
But, this is not normal. Like I said before, my work from home before was a quiet day, and I didn't have to yell to tell people to get off the internet because I'm going to take a video call now. Please stop streaming stuff. But everyone is streaming, like if my daughter has to join a Zoom class to meet up with her, she's got to do video as well. And
mm-hmm.
My parents have to watch their Thai soap operas. And my son is in college and he's got classes too. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah, we have that shared internet issue as well. Yesterday I was on with my team and my whole screen froze because my daughter and I were both on at the same time video. They're like, what are you doing? And someone sent me a screenshot after. It was kind of funny. I was literally frozen with my eyes closed. So
I have a funny story. So everyone's quarantined at home, right? Mm-hmm. We have it was a lockdown DIY project. My neighbor decided to run electricity to his man shed, and he did not dial the dig number, so he cut his fiber line.
Oh no!
Yeah,
oh, no.
So that just disrupted like everything in the neighborhood. He had some pretty pissed off utility workers
Mm.
come come to the house, and I could, see the trucks and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be doing projects like that, just make sure you do it the right way. Because if you cut the fiber line,
Yeah.
you may not just cut your line, you may have cutting everyone else's internet.
And we're all depending on it
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't blame him. He wanted electricity in his man's shed. It was a project he was doing, but when you cut the fiber, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's wrap things up then. Thank you again for sharing your thoughts and really being honest about your feelings. I know you're always really good at that. You do a great job at the diversity talks for Microsoft, and I think people really feel and understand that they're not alone. So thank you for that candidness. And
Thank you for having me.
yeah, absolutely. So thank you everyone else for also joining and for your questions. And have a safe and wonderful day.